Hi, welcome to Business Influencers. My name is Chris Salem, your host. If this is your first time here, welcome to TALRadio. We are so excited to be part of the TALRadio platform. We've been now here for almost 2.5 years. It is hard to believe it's been that long. And again, this show continues to grow because of you, the listeners, and we are committed to your success to help raise your level of influence and your business to the next level. If you have any questions in regards to any content that you would like to see here on a future show, feel free to reach out to us at chris@christophersalem.com. We'd be more than happy to entertain what types of content through subject matter experts that we can bring in that will help elevate your level of influence and your business to the next level. Today's show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a new social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types and an opportunity to either rekindle old relationships or meet new people for the first time. Now, this is a membership program, meaning that it takes all the noise out of social media, no more of those noisy notifications. You get a chance to come in on your time to generate genuine and authentic relationships with the people you choose to share content with. In addition, it offers a wide array of different services for you personally and for your business or career that are not available to the general public. If you'd like some more information about Alumni Direct, check them out at alumnidirect.com, and that's alumnidirect.com. Well, we got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about sell more by thinking like a partner. And as many of you know, I've been in sales for many years, and now being an executive coach and a trainer and a professional speaker, I love to talk about these types of topics, and we got the right person here today to do that for you. His name is Fred Copestake, and Fred is going to be delivering a lot of value in how we can sell more by thinking like a partner. He is the founder of Brindis, a sales training consultancy, and over the last 22 years, he has traveled around the world 14 times, visiting 36 countries, working with 10,000 plus salespeople. Using this to understand the challenges salespeople face, he has taken what really makes a difference in modern selling and used these in his book, Selling Through Partnering Skills. These ideas form the basis of his work with sales professionals involved in complex B2B sales to develop their approach and ensure it's up to date and has maximum impact. Now, aware of his unprecedented speed of change in the world of sales, his second book, Hybrid Selling, addresses how salespeople can adapt and evolve their approach to avoid becoming irrelevant. This quickly went to #1 on Amazon after its launch, and you'll be able to find out here later in the show how you can get your hand on both of those books. He has a strong belief that people can get better through learning and sharing, and that with better collaboration, we can all make a difference. And without further ado, we welcome Fred Copestake to the show. Fred, how you doing today?
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for inviting me on.
It is a pleasure to be here. We are so happy. So let's talk about, selling. People have been always led to believe, selling is all about, just persuading and convincing people to, see the value of your product, service, whatever that may be, and how it can enhance whatever is important to the person that you're selling to. But let's talk a little bit about in today's world. It's, we have so much technologies change. There's more generational types in the world than ever before. And let's talk about a little bit about the concept of selling more, thinking like a partner.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just the next evolution of sales. Sales has moved on. We were saying, weren't we, just before we hit record, that when we first probably got trained in sales, even when we first started training sales, what we were training was different to what we're saying now. And even if we're talking about, say, questioning skills, we've been talking about, you question people to understand, do they qualify? Okay, they do. Right. Now I understand more about them and their problem. I can swoop in like the hero and give them the solution they require. And God, aren't I an excellent person for doing that? Whereas now, if you're doing that, it's like, well, no, actually, I kind of know my problem and there's so much information out there. I'm sorting it out for myself, but I'm maybe just stuck on an area, or maybe there's something I don't know. And the questioning that we're going to do is to help people make sense of stuff. So we're shining a light, bringing a perspective. So that's just one element of where some of the things that we do in sales are the same but different.
Yes, exactly. And what do you think of what caused this shift that you think that where the shift to now partnering is so relevant today?
Yeah, and then one of the things I want to say is that it's not about partnering. I
Yeah.
called my book the wrong thing. Oh, yeah, mistake. I should have called it collaborative selling because that's where we've shifted to. This sort of
Yeah.
more than ever sitting alongside the customer, as I say, helping them make sense of stuff and co-creating and bringing our combined resources together, which doesn't have to be a formal business alliance. It doesn't have to be a partnership.
Yeah, it doesn't have
We
to be
just
or like
think
yeah.
like it, think as though it is.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's just kind of the natural evolution. And I just think we understand sales better. Sales is a bit, well, everyone lives by selling something, right? And sales training is a huge, huge market. So we spend time and effort to understand, well, what is moving the dial? How do we need to work? What is going on? And we just understand that better and we can make those little shifts.
Yeah.
Or not, as the case may be, because quite a lot of people get stuck and these shifts have happened and some are quite subtle. But it's like, you remember the story of the frog in the water?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you chuck a frog in boiling water, it jumps out, doesn't it? Oh, too hot,
Yeah.
don't like it. But if it's going a little warmer, a little warmer, a little warmer, the poor old frog doesn't notice, then it's boiled to death. It's too late. um, so it's our job, isn't it, Chris, to be saying, hey, look, just be aware of some of this stuff that's going on and keep yourself relevant, keep up to date with it.
Yeah. Well, when you said partnering, when I think of like a joint alliance partnerships, I know when I work with some of my clients, when I help them to increase revenue and profit in their businesses, joint alliance partnerships or alliances are a revenue and profit strategy because they're not necessarily you have a legal partnership like they're like your partner. There might be an agreement that they're going to refer business to you and they'll get maybe a percentage of from the referral or something like that. But that's just another great way of doing business. So when you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
that, that kind of jumped out at me.
It is. No, absolutely it is. We know channel people will, have partner programs.
Yeah.
Some good, some bad.
Yeah,
And some
exactly. Got to be
some are.
mindful.
It's almost a sticker on the door, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you're my partner. In other words, I give you a discount, and now you've got to go off and sell. Some are properly set up to do that. Some we make that kind of more informal agreement. Yes, let's work on this stuff together. But even if we're just thinking, no, I'm going to sell to you direct, but the way I go about it, we are in this together. It has to be because your success is my success. Everybody selling is selling an outcome, really, aren't they? They're selling a result. So we are kind of partners, whether we like it or not. It doesn't have to be signed as that. Think like it and kind of use some of these partnering skills, which are things
Yeah.
we can learn and develop based on people who've been in those bigger alliances and stuff. That just shifts our approach. We become more collaborative. We're more interesting people to talk to.
Oh,
Customers
absolutely.
will spend more time with us because of how we go about things.
Yeah. And I find that it's just you connect on so many different levels, those values and that people feel related to and understood more, and they're just more likely to provide more information that you can get to their challenges that could be better and the results they seek that they don't have. So true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
true.
the reason that I might have called the book the wrong thing is because I came across it was about 5 to 6 years ago now, the concept of partnering skills, PQ. It's the lesser known cousin of IQ and EQ. I came across this because I was looking at channel, I was looking at formal partnerships. And I looked at these 6 things that a guy called Steve Dent had researched and developed and sort of verified, validated through kind of robust system. I looked at these 6 things and I'm going, this is every salesperson. And like, if you're not signed up, if you don't use these 6 things, you're going to struggle. Yeah. So should we play a game? So I'll talk through. I'll tell you the 6 3 things, and you try to tell me that they're not important in sales. Well, I'm setting you up for an impossible task, Chris. But okay. Well, look, so first one, trust. Right.
That's a
We
core
don't need.
that's a main core value.
Yeah, we're going to struggle to sell if we're not trustable. Yeah, and I've made up a word there. Trustable. Are people able to trust us? Trustworthy. But are we able to put our trust in other people? I mean, that's important. It's a two-way street, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got that one. Okay, look, you can't argue on that. Next one, win-win focus. We are looking for mutual benefit. It's like, Fred, I can't. Yeah, of course we are. Yeah. So, what's your win? What's my win? Are we talking about it? Do we understand it? And actually, what I find as a salesperson, or I see salespeople do, is they don't always get their own win. They're so
Yeah.
desperate to please the customer and do stuff that's good for them. It's a lose win. That's not sustainable. It doesn't last, does it?
No. Yeah. So that's for, go ahead, go.
Yeah, but I was saying, I mean, all these things are linked. I have to talk about. There's no specific order, but I always start on trust. Then we talk about interdependence. And I kind of
I
already
love
mentioned.
that word. I love that word. Please expand
uh,
on that.
well, there's different angles to it. Now, the first one I've already said, it's like that your success is my success. So if I'm selling to you, you're trying to achieve some outcomes, you've got some results or some struggles that perhaps I'm helping with. If we don't help you with that, then I've not been successful. So we're interdependent on that. But where I think it also comes into play is in some bigger sales where, okay, you and I are talking, but I've got a team behind me which is supporting, and I need them on side because I need them to do their stuff. And now you've probably got a team as well that also we need to get involved. So we all become interdependent of each other. And that, when you're going off doing your lone wolf, hey, I'm the hero, I'm going to do stuff on my own, it just doesn't work. So the more we can think about, yeah, we might have to give up a little bit of control and let people do stuff the way they want to, but ultimately we're heading towards the same thing, then yeah, we do a better job.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's such a cool area. Yeah.
yeah.
Next up, so again, you're going, yeah, I love the word
No, no,
economy.
no. I love this. I love
I'm
this. I
desperate for you.
love the process, and I love that interdependence. I love that word. It
Yeah.
always
Well,
resonates with me.
I think the next one will too. Transparency.
Oh, well, you just listed a lot of my values:
I know.
transparency, integrity, honesty, and a trust. I mean, you've already
Yeah.
covered.
I know. So why wouldn't people want to bring this in the way they sell? I mean, that's why you're good at what you do, because you live, you breathe, you understand this stuff. And transparency, Steve Dent actually used different words. So he talked about self-disclosure and feedback. So in other words, we have to give a little bit of ourselves. We've got to talk about ourselves. We've got to, explain where we're coming from. Yeah. Equally, we've got to give feedback to customers. So we've said, hey, we're going to work together. We're going to do it like this. And I do all my stuff and you don't do yours. It's like, well, hey, come on, look, we're trying to achieve these goals. And sometimes we do need to push back to customers like that. But kind of all elements of just being open, honest, giving the right information, saying if you're not right, all those things, because that's a big trust builder. They're key, absolutely key.
Yeah.
Now let's see if we're going to touch on another.
Yeah. Well, well, go ahead. Keep going.
No. I just the next element, and again, I suspect this has got Chris all over it as well. It's comfort with change.
Oh, so I interpret that with psychological safety, because through the now I can become transparent to
Yeah,
change.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we're selling change, aren't we, as salespeople? We want people to do things differently, and we're always going to be selling against status quo. Okay, and so we've got our techniques, we've got tactics, we've got ways in which we go about that. But if we're not comfortable with it, if we can't change ourselves, what right do we have to speak to somebody else about it? And by understanding what it's like to change, the process somebody goes through, which is quite anger, sorrow. I mean, it's the same as grief, isn't it? It's bargaining. Oh, yeah, okay, we accept. We can communicate way better. Because I could be getting all excited, jumping up and down, going, oh, come on, Chris, no, this is brilliant, brilliant. This solution, it's going to change your business, it's going to change your business. And you're like, I don't even want to change. I don't like the fact I've got to change. It's winding me up. Stop being so excited about it. And look, we get such a conflict. But then we can sort of, work it out. I should adapt how I approach that. And we can get to where we need to be faster. And then the last element of PQ, so partnering skills, because all these we can measure, we can develop, is having a future orientation. In other words, we know what we're trying to achieve. We've kind of very clear on that. That's our mission. That's our goal. And our decisions are made based on moving towards that.
Wow.
I,
That's
I came
fab.
across these. I came across these 6 things. I thought that's selling today. That's
Yes.
collaborative selling. We need to bake this into whatever process, whatever structure we're using, because that'll change what we say and do, and we're better for it.
Right. That's powerful, powerful stuff. When you are, obviously this starts with awareness when people are hearing this, like in instance, they're hearing this now here on this show, and those that will be listening later. how do you feel like when you're out there sharing this, like where it's going to be stickable? Like when I say stickable, I guess we're coming up with new words here. I don't know if stickable is a word or not,
Right.
but that it sticks, like where they hear it, they process it, and now they start to go, wow, what he just shared. How can I now start to implement that and change the way I think, like in this case, think like a partner, or,
Yeah.
to collaborate to now sell more?
Yeah, and that's what I've done. That's what that first book is all about. It's say, well, okay, we've
Yeah.
got these elements of PQ. Great. Okay, we all agree with them. Lovely. We've got how sales has evolved over the years. Some great stuff. Still same. I use a meeting process which is born in the 1950s because it works. Why,
Yep.
why reinvent the wheel? There's other stuff we need to we need to bin it, get rid because it's rubbish. We take those and we bring them together. So we bring those together into the framework. And so the framework I use is the value framework, VALUE, different parts of a sales process, if you like. But then we've got to make it practical. It's kind of like those are the things that you do. So how can we communicate better? How can we sort of build trust by giving a bit more of ourselves? People can understand us. Videos, send videos. People respond to videos better. So there's lots of very tactical and kind of day-to-day things using new tech and sometimes using old technique that we can translate it into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mutual action plans. Are you sending those? Are you using them? It's a great way to be really transparent, to show the future focus, to show the path we've got. And there's funky ways you can send that in digital sales rooms. So there's all of those things we can build into this way in which we work practically day to day. So it just becomes second nature
Yeah.
because we've added in and just made it work for us.
No, it makes sense. And like you said, everybody processes things different. You got multi-generational types. You got people that respond that are visual or auditory or more hands-on, kinesthetic, that type of thing. So it's just a lot of that just can touch on how it's going to resonate for it to stick, like you said. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And then, you were talking about, very human ways of working. We've been on a panel before, haven't we, where we talked about this
Yes.
stuff. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yes, that's what we've got to do. I mean, you think about it, a partner, your partner, think about it just, your personal point of view, those human elements that despite all the tech and funky things we can do, we are still bringing it back to that. Yeah, unless we don't need to. Okay, well, that's transactional. Set up a better website. But I think what we're talking about here is now these are the sales where people need to get involved. Okay, well, let's respond to people better and sort of do those things, which just makes it easier for them to connect.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And in terms of like, what you're sharing here about selling, what industries you think are going to be the most receptive and most to really benefit from this style of selling more?
Arguably everyone. um, I mean, I can speak from experience on where I tend to work most. I tend to work more in engineering, manufacturing,
Yep.
dare I say it, more traditional industries.
Yeah.
The reason being that a lot of the salespeople, a lot of the are full cycle, so they will look after everything from the beginning to the end. So they
Yep.
can coordinate the whole lot, so they can take the framework and they can be in control of it. Um, Also, a lot of those they kind of get the human, the personal side of it,
Yeah.
but what we can do in sort of saying, okay, we're not really changing that. We're, you realize the fact that these are great things to be doing, but there are smarter ways in which you can do it. Go back to that frog. The water is getting hotter. Let's just make sure you're kind of rising with that heat as well, because we can potentially go a bit further faster if that makes sense. Just
Yeah.
based on where so many of them are at the moment.
Yeah.
And when we do, we get great results, and it's like, yes, it's really cool. Everyone's happy.
Well, it is. And like you said, I mean, this style, like with the way it just builds those stronger, deeper relationships. And that's really what it's about. And it's, how you connect with different people might be maybe different, but, like some people who are engineering might connect more on facts, figures, trends, whereas somebody who's more marketing related might connect
Yeah,
more on things about, like the emotions and the person itself. So, but how we can adapt to that is still the same, and how we're collaborating and building those relationships that you shared. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. And again, what I've seen in those kind of sales is that there are a lot of people involved. The
Yeah.
decision making unit, and then people. Of course, you gravitate to people like yourself. People like themselves. Of course they do. It's easy to talk to. Trained engineer will talk to a trained engineer all day.
Eh,
Why? Because they understand that world. It's easy. We get it. We're from the same angle. Yeah, but you might need to go and talk to the marketing guys. Oh no, they do different things. Yeah, understand what different things they do and talk to them about it. And you are going to have to get in procurement involved earlier. Oh no, do we really? Yes, you do. And let's not try and pretend we don't. Get them involved earlier on side. They're actually brilliant for showing you around an organization, but just understand the things that they care about. And that's what think about the win-win thing. It's like, what is that person's win? What are they trying to achieve? Understand that, talk to them about that, get them on side, and kind of manage that whole decision-making unit. It's a smart way to work. And that's where quite a lot of the people I tend to work with do operate. They've got plenty of folk that they need to deal with.
Wow, that's great. That's why I love what you're sharing there and so on. And so what are some of the things like you find like when you do a lot of sales training and you do this, are you finding now like back in the day we used to always do this in person and now we've done a lot virtually. Where do you feel like the training aspect of getting this across to people is can be done virtually, in person, or it doesn't matter?
I speak from a personal point of view. I've gone virtual. I've
Yeah.
gone virtual. The little intro you gave, hey, I've been around the world 14 times. 50% of my
Yeah,
time would
you're
have been
probably like,
spent
I don't want to
abroad on a
I
plane.
don't want to break any
I,
more records doing that.
Not at all. I don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not quite true, but it's very selective.
Yep.
It's very deliberate, and it has to be for a very specific reason.
Yeah.
Because the shift when we went to virtual, from a training point of view, we had to 2020, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I think we could have done it before, but people didn't really want to. And we
Yeah.
like getting on a plane, or we like meeting somewhere and having a big bonfire and all the good stuff that goes with it. But when you're training, doing 2, 3, 4, I've done 5-day training sessions before. Normally, if I had to travel decent
I've done,
distances, but then
three is the longest I've done, and that can be, woo.
5 days is pretty heavy
That's
duty.
long.
Um, it's just too much. You give people too much. What are we like? We'll tend to kill people with kindness anyway. But you're throwing all this stuff at people. Whereas now that people go, actually, we can give a good experience in virtual. We can, you set it up in a certain way. But what it also means is we can chop the training down into smaller pieces
Yeah.
so that we can say, right, let's do 3 hours now. This is how I do it. 3 hours now. Okay. That's kind of the training bit. That's the input bit. There's the new ideas. Go away and do it. Go away and do it. Real life customer, real life opportunity. Start applying this stuff. Come back and we are going to have a coaching session. So how are you actually applying it? Okay. Really good. Then the next session is the next training. So here's the next set of stuff which you can layer on top of what you've been doing in this real life account, and we kind of build through that value framework, piece by piece, time to implement, support stuff, buyer enablement platform and videos, and all this good stuff that's there to help. But it's more than anything, it's giving people the time and space to apply it in real life, getting the results as they're going along. Hey, this stuff is cool because it works. I'll carry on doing it. Training pays for itself, and it's kind of easier from the point of view that we're not having to try and carve out a 3, 4, 5-day session. It's 3 hours a week, and we're putting it all in place. And I'm just finding it's working way better.
Wow, that's fabulous. I
Rubbish,
agree.
rubbish for air miles, Chris. Rubbish for air miles.
Oh yeah,
I've
yeah.
lost
It's
my
not,
card.
believe me. I getting on planes. I believe me. I have to do it for speaking in some trainings, but like you said, I've done a lot now virtually, especially
Yeah,
when it's international. Yeah, so
yeah.
much easier. And I don't care if I got to do it early in the morning or some crazy hour. If I'm training someone in Australia, I'd rather do that than have
Yeah.
to fly all the way over. Yeah.
And there's ways you can set up. I mean, we're sort of sat down. I mean, I'm in meeting mode. I have different cameras and mics and all this sort of thing. Yeah, that's kind of it's what I get excited about now. It's dead sad. For the kind of meeting mode, I'll have headphones and I'll have a camera at this level. But then I've got like different camera, higher definition, lav mics. I still use a flip chart. I love a flip chart.
Oh, I do
Yeah,
too. I
I
love
think
the
I'm a
old fashioned.
wannabe
I
silent
love
signer kind of
writing
thing.
it down and pasting them up. Yeah. Well, that maybe if I'm in person, but sometimes even if it's virtual, I'll have something
Yeah.
behind,
Yeah.
and I can make it big so they can see it. Or you could do it
Yeah.
even on Zoom now. They got the whiteboards on Zoom that you can do it too. Yeah.
So I set up with the flip chart again, when then the camera angles and everything. So you are presenting properly, and everyone's in a front row seat now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you still work harder, and it's people saying, well, one of the things with virtual is distraction, isn't it? But you're working on something that is designed to distract you. There's emails and everything pinging and popping and all that. Plus, someone probably got a phone on the desk as well. And we know that in virtual, and this is kind of a tip for any kind of presentation, movement on screen. Yeah, then people's eyes go, what was that? What was that? What's going on? Which is why you use more slides if you're using slides. Yeah, it's why you scribble on slides if you're not using lots of slides, because it's keeping people's eyes moving.
Exactly.
Now, if you're presenting full body, or certainly bottom half up, it's waist upwards, you are going to be moving a lot. You're drawing more on the set. Stuff is happening. People will keep engaged. So it's better for all of us.
And then if you ask questions and get their
Yeah.
interaction, that too, it definitely does.
I actually was doing some live stuff the other day, and I got probably so used to doing it. I got to this part where I'd normally go, just pop into chat this. I'm like, oh, you can't. I'm now. I told them what I was doing. I said, that's what I normally ask. We have to go around the room. Now, one of the beauties of doing the stuff like that, you can do it very, very quickly, can't you? Like, can you all put in chat? Bang, 10 answers. Around the room, 10 different answers. So you can keep things rollicking along really well. And people are like, wow, where's the time gone? And you've covered actually quite a lot. But keeping it without going there, let's sit on screen for sort of all day, because that would be impossible.
Well, this is powerful stuff that you're sharing, Fred. I know we're getting towards the end of the show, and we're definitely going to have you back on for to either continue on this topic or something to elaborate further. Maybe we could talk about then more of the hybrid selling next time. We can do that from your book. But I would like to get people to get to know you. Like, how can they get in contact with you? How can they get their hands on both books? And anything that you'd like to share else that you'd like to offer the audience.
Cool. Well, so LinkedIn's the go-to. I'm on there probably too much, but no, yeah, I'm on there.
I'm there too.
That's why we talk to each other. We know each other so well.
Exactly.
But no, on there, and mention the show. If you send a connection, I'll connect and mention the show. Books are on Amazon, so again, you can find those on there. Selling Through Partnering Skills and Hybrid Selling. What I can do I can send you. I'll give you the link to put in show notes, which is to a scorecard. So I use a scorecard, which is takes about 5 minutes. It answers 35 questions, which they do get you to reflect, but more than anything, they will create a bespoke report to you about the partnering skills that you're using or not, and then the elements of the value framework. So it'll give you kind of, well, this is where you are. You could be better on this, or yeah, you did brilliant. You can still get better. And that will then also give you it gives you the guts of the book anyway, so you don't even need to buy it. Not very smart, is it? I'm a rubbish salesperson. But no, it gives you that, and kind of the report off the back and some extra resources. So it's we can point people towards that too.
That's wonderful. Well, first of all, what we want to let the audience know, everybody take advantage of this. Get your hands on the books on Amazon. Reach out to Fred on LinkedIn and take advantage of that scorecard, because those are the things that are going to help you to kind of get a pulse of where you are and now where you desire to be. And again, reach out to Fred, and maybe perhaps he can now work with you or your organization to really help elevate your sales, to really operate in a collaborative way to take it to the next level. So we want to thank you, Fred, for taking the time out of your schedule here to be with us here today.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. I'll talk about this stuff all day, mate.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have Fred back on for another show, everybody. And again, we want to thank you, audience, joining us here for Business Influencers each and every week. Again, the show is dedicated to you. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your presence. And we are committed to your success to raise your level of influence and your business to the next level. Till then, everybody, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. Take care.